Good evening, everyone. Whoa, we're loud. I welcome everyone to the Crawford Library Board of Trustees meeting of Tuesday, April 23rd. And let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, but I will remind everybody that this meeting is being recorded. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, we have two sets of meeting minutes to approve. Let's go with February 27th, 2024. First of all, please. Everybody take a peek at those, and if there are any additions, subtractions, or corrections that need to be made, let us know, please. Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of February 27th.
Second. Pat Korch and Richard Clark. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I abstain.
One abstention from Joyce. Thank you very much. Now let's go right into the March 26, 2024 minutes, please. Any corrections, additions, deletions need to be made? We'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 26th.
Pat makes the motion.
I second.
We have a second for Adriana. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
We have two abstentions, Richard and Benjamin, who were not there that night. Thank you very much. Okay. Nicole, would you like to do some staff introductions? Not that then you've been here much longer than they have, but
I would love
please.
to. Tonight we have with us Deb Coggins, who is our circulation supervisor. And she comes to us from Charlton. She has over 10 years library experience, which has definitely shown in her performance over the past month that she's been with us. So Deb, if you want to say a little something about yourself.
Oh, God. I thought I could do this. Now I'm all nervous. As Nicole said, I've been Charlton 10, and I was previously in Dudley for seven years?
I think it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
so 17 altogether. I'm excited to be back. I love it. I love going to work. And right now I'm all about summer reading. We're gonna get some good stuff.
No, let them hear that at home, please.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good
Very
stuff.
excited about summer reading. That's my...
All ages, Deb? What
yes,
do you?
yeah, getting for all ages.
You're getting,
Yes, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd
Yes,
like to thank
please.
her for the pies.
Oh,
Understand she was
yes.
the,
Yes, I did do the pies.
Right there with table talk, thank you.
Yes, yeah. I did get the pies. That's a big thing for me too. I love getting stuff. Like for the, not for me, you know what I mean? Like getting donations, and I kind of get high off of it, I think. Like it's a big adrenaline rush for me to do that.
You tried to keep me from getting a pie, I'll have you know.
Never. You can have as many pies as you want.
Deb, we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Yes, it is
I am
great.
very glad to be back. Very glad to be back.
You add extra life to the building.
Oh,
Yes, you do.
thank you.
Oh, yes. When I'm not sure what you're going to say to me.
I try. I try.
So Deb's position opened because Courtney received a promotion and she is now our youth services librarian. She is doing a great job getting the room in order and the collection development up to speed. So you can go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself, Courtney.
I've been at the Pearl Crawford Library for about 2 years now. I'm very excited to be in this position. I look forward to going into work every single day, and I just think that that room needs a lot of love and some TLC, and I can't wait to do that for our community.
2 years tells you a lot about her, because she's already had, this is her second promotion in 2 years. So that's how good she is with our library. Yes, she's done very well. Terrific. Questions for either one of them from the board? Don't be nice to them. I already said they were going to get drilled. I said you were going to get drilled tonight.
I have kudos to Courtney. I've been on the board now for a couple of, I think this is my third re-election, but I want to thank you because all the time that I've been on this board, not once have I gotten a children's librarian report.
Oh,
I want to thank you for all that information.
you're welcome.
That was so nice to get.
Absolutely.
Yes, I look forward to it. I'm sorry, it's probably going to be another job for you.
Oh, no, easy,
Along with that
That's
now
fine.
every month, but yeah, that's
Oh, good, I'm
really
glad.
nice to get
Thank
that.
you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Terrific. Any others? Well, welcome aboard, and hope for a long, great relationship with the library, and we look forward to great things. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can go home and have dinner with your families. You don't have to stay for the meeting.
You're certainly welcome to stay.
Oh, you're always welcome.
But,
Always
well,
welcome.
just to follow that thought just a
Yes.
bit, Mr. Chairman, you are always welcome, and we would certainly appreciate, if you wanted to come in and had questions or thoughts
Yes.
and ideas that you wanted to present, the table, the forum is open.
Yeah, this is an open meeting for all townspeople, but just you, our staff, you're more than welcome. We do want to hear it, and when we come in the library,
Yes.
feel free.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, you might regret now.
I agree, I might. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Director's report, Maria.
All right, so we're starting with the programs and events. We're midway through April. We've had a really busy month already, which we'll report our numbers out next month for you. But the Eclipse Glass Extravaganza was highly successful. We had a line around the corner at 10 a.m. We were so excited to see that. Our people counters said we had 450 people through the door for that.
450?
450.
Where did you put 450 people?
So they lined up around the building,
They
and as
did.
soon as the glasses were gone,
Yep.
they dispersed, and then we had people in and out of the building to come for the viewing and to pick up snack bags, and it was a lot of fun.
You never saw that many vehicles in the parking lot.
They started lining up at 9 a.m. We were like, oh, wow. So it was exciting.
But they had to come in to the building to
Yeah.
get through the clicker to get our census up. They had
We
to
need to
come and
schedule
go.
another eclipse,
Yeah,
obviously.
Really?
Exactly, next year, same time, same
So
place.
20 years is not enough.
Really?
Can people still return the glasses?
Absolutely. We have a huge envelope at the desk still, so until the end of the month. Yep. And then that was not to be eclipsed by the zoo, which was last Wednesday. It rained. We were nervous.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it
Let me
wasn't
tell you, the rain was a blessing. We had not only people outside with the animals, they were in the children's room. Richard was actually in the building. It was amazing.
I don't think there were ever as many kids in that children's room as there were on that day. I mean, some of them were wet, but
it was okay.
they were there in numbers, no
Yeah.
doubt of that.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it was amazing. So we don't have an actual count for that day because it was raining. And we didn't have a dedicated staff member outside because unfortunately we need them inside the building.
I would like to thank the staff. I'm sure putting the room back together after that was a
It
task.
took a couple minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a
Very
great
understated.
problem. Yeah, it was a great problem to have. But we're estimating like 250 people came to
I
see the
bet.
zoo animals, so it's
Super.
exciting. So tomorrow is our Monet Garden program, which is full. We have refreshments that were provided by the Friends. We picked those up today, so we're really excited for that. Deb's Sing and Swing is coming Thursday, April 25th for the kids. That's no registration required, is that correct, Courtney?
No registration required.
So I'm sure she's going to draw a big crowd. And then we go into May with, we start with a Nancy Drew presentation, which is on Thursday, May 9th, and that is open to all ages. It's going to be really cool. She comes in and you're welcome to bring Nancy Drew items, and she will appraise them for you and go into the history of certain items, and it's going to be fun. May 11th, Saturday, we have Bees and Beekeeping. That post has been shared 14 times on Facebook, so people are clearly into bees. So,
Excuse me, what time is that on the 11th?
Saturday, May 11th, I think it's at 11.
10 to 11:30.
Yeah.
10 to 11:30, thank you.
Nancy Drew starts at 6?
6:30.
6:30.
7:45, I think, that one was.
So make note to add times to agenda next month.
I was looking at it today at lunchtime, because we have two friends who actually have just started beekeeping.
Nice.
And I said, oh, you must come. So I sent them the,
Yeah.
I sent the connection.
It's going to be great. Mahjong, we've had 2 sessions so far. The first one we had 4 people. The second one we had 9 people.
Oh.
That was quick.
Yeah, so we're expecting a bigger crowd in May because the lessons start. So those are open to everyone. We did put a registration on there just so we can anticipate how many people are going to show up. We also have a magician coming on Saturday, so we're really doing a lot of Saturday programs. Courtney booked that, so that is going to be open, no registration required. And then we're going to cap off the month with the musical petting zoo, which are actual instruments that kids can come in. It's 50 kids at a time. We're having 2 sessions, and they can actually touch and see all sorts of different instruments, which is something Courtney found, so she's doing a great job with the programming.
So there's no pets involved.
No. No.
Just thought I'd ask.
Yes. We're going to let them in the building, though. The animals we kept outside. One of the exciting things that happened this month is the Southwick Zoo passes went up for sale. They were absolutely gone by the end of the first week. Half of them sold on the first 3 days. Like, it was great. So next year, the friends are like, we'll double down on that. Gentle yoga, we had 6 people show up this week for that, and family yoga starts at the beginning of May, which is going to be a Thursday night class, and people are encouraged to come with their whole family. We've also set up a puzzle table in the adult room for passive programming. Maybe 10 people a month are working on it. We're on puzzle number 2.
No, this month, 10, we've had about 11, 12.
Nice. And then the other 2 exciting things that I'm excited about, we got rid of the pay-per-use fax. So I don't know if anybody knows how that worked, but it was set up as a credit card payment, and the person would call in and they'd have to put their credit card in, and it was $1.75 for the first page, $1 for every page thereafter. The library in the town weren't seeing any profits from that unless it was over $50 a month, which was never. So I canceled the contract with the company. They're going to come pick up the fax machine tomorrow. I bought a fax machine, and it is free for the public to use as a service for the town.
You'll probably see more use.
Yeah.
It's
Once
been,
that gets out,
Sure.
more
It's
people
been very-
coming in to do that, because
Yeah.
I know people have asked me.
yeah, it's
Now-
been very popular.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I thought any revenue from the copying machine and maybe from the fax as well went into the general fund as far as the
Correct.
town is concerned, so the library never realized any benefit from
Well,
that, at least not directly.
Yeah, so the fax machine is a little bit different than the copier.
Yes,
So we know what's deposited because we
Do the
we do the
deposit.
turnover. The fax machine is a credit card, and the payment goes directly to the Fax 24 company.
Okay,
They would give us money back if we reached a certain amount, which I don't believe it ever did. I don't have any records of it. I could
yeah.
look, but I think having the free faxing goes right in line with the spirit of the
Bringing
library.
people in.
Yes,
Sure.
open to
One
everybody.
more
So we were
service.
excited about that. And
Do
we
we know
started-
how many people typically use
Fax?
the fax machine? Because I feel like nowadays everything's via email and like.
I have used it.
Huge faxing, but you wouldn't think.
Oh, let's hear from a staff member.
You wouldn't think people fax, but they fax
They do.
a lot.
They
Yeah.
do?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
used quite a bit, yeah. Because like doctors don't want you emailing or they want it, to fax, so, yeah.
One of the things that machine did provide was you could get a confirmation I don't know whether whatever we're gonna install now will have that same,
It's right in the fax machine, there's directions right next
Okay.
to it. They just, I think they have to press 4111 enter, and it comes
Yeah.
up. But it's all, the directions are there.
no, it was just,
Yeah.
for someone who's not a very adept user, just to know that the thing was confirmed, so, seemed like a good idea more
It
than once.
definitely is a good idea, absolutely.
So.
Make sure you're
does
both trained
print
on
a
it, so when we
paper,
go.
you say it's-
Come here.
All right, so my question would be
Show me.
cost. Now we're gonna be buying paper.
Very minimal cost.
Okay.
Very minimal. I think if it was to become an issue, we could look at charging for a fax. I just think it's such a small fee that, yeah.
Yeah, no, good service for the
Yeah,
town.
I think
Well,
it's a
we'll
nice
see if
thing.
it like increases, you know.
You'll have to
a
start keeping
lot.
tally marks now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some data on it, I guess. Why not?
I'm sure that it will run a report
I
for
was
you to
gonna
let
say.
you know,
Yeah.
how frequent,
Well, it's not a commercial. Is it a commercial fax?
doesn't
No,
have to
but it
be.
has,
Doesn't
everything's
have to
got the
be.
digital
Really?
readouts.
Probably a counter.
Yeah.
How many pages it spits out,
Yep.
sure.
And then the most.
I mean, because ours at work actually, like, just shows the phone number, so that way you can tell how many faxes have gone out, and it usually like says okay or something at the end, just for the confirmation that it went through. But I know you can also print out the confirmation. I'm sorry, Nicole.
No, you're good. No, I'm sorry. The most exciting thing that happened this month is we have recycling at the library, so we're very excited. We have an actual recycle bin, and it will be picked up every Wednesday. So, it's the little things.
It
Exactly.
is. It's the little things.
the
They
little
all
things.
add
Well, yeah.
up.
And, you know, certain things we had, like recycling years ago, it's back, that's good. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Does anybody have any questions about the
So,
programs?
Program, events, any questions? Anything to add? Because you have a different perspective.
A lot of pressure.
I'm happy to see that, you know, you're trying to like get some Saturday programming, because I do feel that that brings people in. Now that we're open on Saturdays, like, we want to promote that. So
Yeah.
that's nice
Yeah,
to see.
exactly.
And I'm glad that you have more programs for adults. I'm always here supporting the children, but I think the adults need some services as well. So thank you
Yeah.
for doing that.
Well, just a thought, I know we have the teen room, which maybe I'm falsely categorizing that, but it seems to be one of our least utilized resources.
I just saw it used though, a painting class or something. I
Right.
was so, I actually, to myself, I was like, oh, I'm happy they're using that room.
Those
I
are,
just think
those
you can
are.
have another program going on.
Those are
Like,
kids,
it
I
seems
believe,
taboo.
for various ages. I don't think it's teen specific, is it?
No, that was a kid, class
Was
5 to 12, 5 years to 12 years old.
Yep.
Yep, they were in
Yeah,
that
no,
room.
I note this Nancy Drew presentation. I don't know, is that something that kids are, of that age are inclined to have interest in?
Yeah.
More like kids of our age.
Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah, I was like,
Nancy Drew is this age.
Yeah, well, all right. I'll confess, I've dated myself here again. But, yeah.
We have
Well.
like something in the works for the young adults and
Good,
for the
good.
mom group, but it's a surprise.
Yeah.
Cool.
You will hear about it, yeah.
No, I understand
But
that, you know,
we
it takes time to get these things going and
Yeah.
get that kind of buzz and a little activity and some action there. And hopefully there's good things there. Because I think, again, that is a facility that we would like to see, well, more bodies, frankly.
Yeah,
And we do have Thursday nights, we have a dedicated group of young adults that come in and play Dungeons and Dragons every
Oh,
Thursday
cool.
night. There's between 4 and 6 of them every week.
Every week.
Every week.
Every week.
So,
and where do
That's
where do
huge.
they meet?
They meet in the teen room
Oh,
and they
okay.
sit in that really long booth.
Yep.
And they just all sit in there and they spread out everything on the table and they have a grand old time in there.
Oh,
They do.
good.
Wait, is it a board game? I thought it was online.
Oh no, so you can play. I don't know a lot about Dungeons and Dragons, but you can play
beat this
online,
crowd.
but you can play face to face as well.
they buy books and then they follow the story. Like, it's very it's very serious.
Campaign.
It's very serious.
There's dice and what have you to determine like what's gonna happen next and.
Yeah.
Mm.
Create characters and, yeah, it's a lot. And we have the,
Great imagination game.
we have a gentleman that said he would run a group for for younger kids if there was an interest for that. You know, the young adults should have their own space, I think. So.
excellent.
Thank you.
Good. Any other things, anything else on programs and events or upcoming? All right, let's go down to the financials, please.
We want to look at some numbers here. We have social media use, there's references in January, February, March on my skipping things there. I may have printed things out of order.
Okay.
It was nice to see all those
Yeah.
numbers increasing.
Right, yes, we're going in the right
Love an
direction.
increase.
And they say people don't use Facebook, right?
Even Instagram is going up a little bit.
Yeah.
So what is constant contact? Is it the email?
That's the e-newsletter.
Oh,
So the
okay.
monthly one that you get, and there's a link right on the website that you can sign up for it. And that goes out, we're aiming for the third week of every month. Lena puts together the e-newsletter and sends out the events. So that's what that is.
So people have to subscribe or they have to, okay.
Yeah. If you don't get it, you should. It's a great snapshot for the month of what's happening, and the links are all hot, so you can sign up for the events right through the email.
Anything else, Richard,
No,
that you saw?
no,
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting the numbers, which is so nice to see the numbers, just and watch us grow. Now I'll go to financials, if you would, please.
So I think we're on track to spend all our money down this year. I know for a fact we are. Everything is right where it should be. The telephone has increased quite a bit over the past year because I guess we have what's called POTS lines, plain old telephone service. So they're copper lines. Through the phone company, you can ask what the options are. I guess that they don't really want people using that type of phone service anymore, so the bill continues to rise. So I've put an email in for some of our options as far as like maybe moving over to a digital phone service. I'm gonna take my time with this one because there's so much fire safety equipment in the building,
I think
alarm
that was part of the
systems.
reason the last time I remember some discussion about it, and I thought it had to do with one of our systems.
Yeah, there's a lot to undertake, so
Yeah.
I'll update you on that again. If we go, we probably are gonna go over on that line a little bit this year, but I can take it out of state aid and just pay the difference. The phone bill's floating around $200, $225 a month now, whereas 6 months ago it was $170, last year it was $150, so. They fully admit that is the reason why they want you off the POTS lines. So.
I'll be curious to hear the options.
I will be too. Building contracts. Siemens is scheduled to come in on Thursday of this week. We have to replace the horn strobe on the outside of the building.
The what?
The horn strobe, which is that light if there's a fire in the building, it's the horn
okay.
strobe.
Yep.
And they also have to replace some batteries in the panels and the voice comm panel. Batteries are not cheap. So the work was estimated to be about $3,000. So that will wipe the rest of the building maintenance contract line, and then I'll take the overflow from the state aid account to cover that. But it's important that that horn strobe be replaced. I think it's been out for a couple of years, but it's you know.
First I
something
hear of that.
something that we should definitely have.
Let's get things up and running,
How is
please.
it identified that it was out?
We have our fire safety test every year. So when the guys came in the building this year, they were well aware that it had been out last year, and I said, oh, well, you can replace it, right? He's like, wait till you see the quote. So,
Oh.
yeah, so they knew. It's like dealing with elevator maintenance contracts, so it is what it is. Fire safety, like you have to take care of it, it is what it is. And it's prevailing wage, so,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But they will
All
be.
learned about prevailing wage on this committee.
But they'll be here Thursday morning, so that should be all set. Materials, right now we have about 26% left. It's more like 4.7%. There's invoices that are outstanding that I haven't paid yet, so they've been earmarked. Courtney did a great job getting into the nonfiction Juve section and really updating that. So she was able to get a lot of the materials purchased this year while we have that money to spend.
Why do we have so much left in utilities?
That's a great question. It's the electric.
The feedback, the give back?
Yeah, we don't know how many what the credits are every year, so we can't predict.
So bizarre.
I know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's
Yeah,
a better
no, as long
problem
as it's
to
in our
have this way,
direction.
right?
It is,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
Better than the opposite.
exactly.
Yeah. So I did put into gas bills today, so it's about 11.7 that's left in that fund. But we are still gonna have money left over there.
And do we not budget anything for professional development?
Not this year.
Okay.
If the girls wanna take any classes, or the staff, I shouldn't say girls, if the staff would like to take any classes, they're welcome to. We would definitely
money.
support that. Courtney is going to be visiting a community library next week to see what they offer and to see how some of their programming is. So she's doing a great job of finding, cost-effective ways to better the library.
Did
And
we
there's-
put some in for next year?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But there's so many great programs like on Niche Academy, that are geared towards libraries, that are all free, so.
Good. Excellent. Any other questions about the financials? We want to give power washing update, which is under there.
So I did get 3 quotes for power washing, or they call it soft washing. It's more chemical based than the power wands. The 3 companies are all local, and everybody was in line as far as quotes go. So it's going to be about $2,400. That includes the walkways, the shed, the exterior of the building. And if you're looking at the building, the roof, the 2 sides that don't have the solar panels, they're very stained. That's an organic material that they just spray it, and after the first rain, it washes away and the organic material gets eaten up. But it's a treatment that all 3 companies suggest that we do for, to prolong the life of the roof.
Not to
No,
interrupt.
that's okay.
Speaking of roof, I thought several months ago, someone was going to look at the roof. Was it your husband?
We noticed it.
Yes.
Oh, you noticed it.
They
So was
noticed it,
someone
yeah.
else gonna look at that, though? I thought we talked about it briefly.
We did talk
To
about it,
see,
but
and
I
I
don't
don't know
know
where
if
that
I don't
went.
think it got very far.
So maybe we just need to look at that again.
I don't know whether this process, if there is an issue there, this process might identify
Aggravate it.
that, further identify that.
Where there's
If in fact there is.
They think there was some shingles removed?
It looked
Is
like
that
there were
what it
2
was?
shingles that were out of place. If you look at the roof on those sides that don't have the solar panels on them, it looks like there are 2,
I
like one
knew
on either
somebody
side that's kind of
had
out of
done.
whack.
Yeah.
And when we were there a couple weeks ago dropping books off for the
Yep.
Friends sale, my husband was like, "That's still off. Like it's still not right." So I'll have him chat with Mr. Clark.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I don't think
Guy
Mr. Clark
talking.
wants to climb up on the roof.
Oh no.
Probably
No, but I'm
not,
just
no.
wondering about having someone maybe look at it, like,
Yeah, well-
before we do the power washing, like, I
Well,
don't know.
I don't know whether these, how actively, much attention have they given to the roof other than to assess that?
They're a power washing
cleaning?
company. They're
All
not
right, they
roofers.
would have noticed
Yeah.
even if the shingles are out
Yeah.
of place. All right.
I know somebody local that I can call and ask to look at it if you guys would like the shingles.
We do have
We
the
should.
lift.
We do.
Oh,
That's an
wow.
interior lift, Richard. That's buried deep in the closet.
Okay.
But yes, we do.
We've
have a
already
lift.
asked about it?
Well,
Mentioned if we,
I thought it lived here, not there.
No,
No, it lives down there now.
Oh, I thought it lived
It
here.
did.
oh, no.
It did for the first 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Want to maintain custody of
with
anything
us.
and everything.
Give it back to us. They said, please store this.
I missed that
What
coming
goes here
back,
stays
sorry.
here.
Back with us.
Gotcha.
It is.
All right, so that's a good question, because at some point, the roof is not getting any younger.
Well, we're
obviously.
already plus 10 years, so.
Yeah, and we've already identified this issue in terms of the discoloration, so there may be more in play up there than we'd like
So,
it to be.
please, get an inspection, please.
Yeah.
Be a good idea.
There should be somebody in town that could just, someone on staff here that could just take a look at it. Yeah, there's a shingle that's not there or something like that. And then get into the weeds as far as
Nicole, didn't one of the power washing companies include doing the windows too?
Yes, so I left that part.
Ooh.
I left that part out of, just so we can compare apples to apples.
Good idea.
And to include the windows, because they won't be dirty after the soft wash, but like they'll have deposits, those water deposits on it, $850 in addition to, if we want to have that done.
Sounds like a good price, actually. All done at the same time would be great, yeah. And I'm sure that's just the outside, but.
Yes, yeah,
Now, only one company offered that?
correct.
And that's the 2400 company?
2335.
2335.
So they were smack dab in the middle.
What if,
And you talked to all three, obviously, and you like the 2335 person?
I think all three of them would probably do a great job. There's definitely more reviews for the company that offered the Windows service.
Yeah, they had
More
good
reviews?
More
reviews on
reviews.
Google, a
Yeah.
lot of good reviews,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep,
Good.
yep. And they were asked to touch base with Michelle too and see if they could do this building. I was hoping that we would maybe get a little bit more of a discount, but I think it's a great price to do the whole building.
silly question, I know, but would is it an option to have the other two, like
I'm
quote us
sure. Yeah, I'm
on
sure.
Windows? I'm just wondering if they might, just give us a price, and that way we really do have three apples to apples.
Sure, I can ask them for that.
We're gonna be working on the roof before that, so it'll give us some time to decide on roof things before that part.
All right, so we will not vote on this tonight. We'll wait for a little more information, because there's thankfully, no urgency on this. It's more actually the shingle issue is probably more important to make sure,
Potentially.
yeah, it has the
Probably just
potential.
getting slotted into a calendar with the summer weather coming,
Yep,
maybe, spring weather, maybe.
so let's try to get this settled by next month and put it out there. Yeah. Good, thank you.
good. Yep.
Thank you. Trees.
Trees. NJ came in from Highway to talk about the two large pine trees that are in the garden area to the side of the building. Neighbors in that area are concerned about branches falling on their garage and causing damage. So they'd like to take the trees down. He had a tree contractor come in. We got a quote for $3,000. That would be our responsibility to pay that. Highway feels like it's a very good idea, and Mr. Reuter feels like it's a very good idea, just to get it done.
Didn't we have a problem one year when we had a really bad storm?
Yes.
Karen was here at the time, I
Yeah.
recall.
And since that time, I don't know if you've watched it, they did a lot of work on their garage. It looks like they put a room above it. It's,
Yeah.
if we're looking at our building, it's the house to the right. And they've done something, they've done a lot of work on that garage. And I think they want to protect their investment.
Understood.
One evergreen kind of goes this way, and it's an obvious. One, I swear we could sell for a telephone pole, but he's recommending they both come down. And to this afternoon, I looked, and one between those two is a maple that splits about this high off the ground and goes this way. And one kind of goes right towards this garage we're talking about. So I'm really thinking we should look at maybe taking at least that half of it down. The other half will fall right on our lot. And I think if we do something, which we're gonna put on next month's agenda for the Crawford Corner as a topic overall, but I think trees will be part of that topic.
Right.
I mean, we've already heard that.
Right, exactly.
So, but I'm thinking, if we have somebody in there, this one that's going kind of right over the other garage, I think it's actually more important, that one, than this telephone pole that looks fine and dandy to me, but I'm not gonna question that. But I just think, let's get a quote for just adding that. It's, it's not huge, but it's big enough to do damage
Right.
onto this new roof that they put next door.
Yeah, and it's cheaper to have it done, like, if there are multiples.
If they're
When
there, yeah.
It,
So you're not looking to take the whole tree down? you
I'm
just
not,
want part
I
of it.
think it's
maple.
the maple that kind of heads right over the garage. It kind of heads off, as I say, it splits about 6 feet up. The other half, if it fell, we might as well wait for Crawford Corner, if we go that route, to decide what they want to do with everything in the plan. But this is just to maintain good neighborly relations.
No, I think that's a good idea.
So if we could get just maybe one more piece of the puzzle, and maybe, and ask him. If he says, oh, no, that's absolutely fine, da, 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 they know more about trees than I do, but I just see it going that way, and just ask and get a number if they say, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. All right. Anything else under facilities?
We had talked in the past about the doors, doing something to improve the appearance of them, if you will. And
Yep.
obviously, we've gone through a winter, and it wasn't that severe, thankfully, but it hasn't gotten any better, so I think that's still an open issue. I don't know where we can go with that. I believe that we were told, at least in the past, there have been some attempts to find someone who could do something with the doors. That apparently was not successful. So we are still in the market, I think, with regards to
Remember?
Well,
Yeah, it
Drusilla
was-
mentioned she was gonna.
I know.
Yeah, Ernie was never contacted, actually.
Okay.
To refinish the doors?
Yes, yes. Should we go back and try that again? Yeah. Pat will give you a name and number for somebody who has done work, excellent work at the library, doing similar items.
Okay.
And we'll just try to reach out to him to, and we're talking all exterior doors?
I was thinking of the main entrance specifically,
Main
but.
entrance, he really needs to be.
And,
Yeah.
and isn't the south-facing door bad too,
believe
Brandon
so,
roadside?
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that at the end of the stacks, because it's facing south.
Might as well get them all.
And then that only leaves the one at the children's end.
Yeah.
Because
I
the
think
back
we should
doors
probably
are
do
metal.
all.
We might as well.
Yeah.
I think we
We're
should
doing
do
3, we
all,
might as well do
yeah.
4.
all.
I don't know, the one going out of the Fells room, is that a wooden door or is that a
No.
metal door? I don't remember.
It's a metal.
Yeah, and the back are definitely metal, the back
Backside.
alley. Those are metal, I know that. But yes, let's get yes,
Yeah.
work with Pat and see if we can get
I'll
a
check
quote on
with
that.
Ernie. He is actually retired now, but he may be doing small
Little stuff, yeah.
project work,
This is
yeah.
a huge project,
Right.
okay. Terrific, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, keep picking things out of your brain, mister.
Well,
What else is there on the
one of the
list?
other things that I know we had some time ago, we were looking at, well, we get the sign repaired, the digital sign repaired.
Yes,
And I was given to understand that some part of that job was to clean the sign up, where it's mottled, it's mildewed, or appears to be somewhat off color, at least on the perimeter. And I hate to say this, but it doesn't sound like that. What I thought I heard apparently was not the case, that nothing has happened with regards to that. So it might have been another, might have been but didn't happen situation. So I question, in terms of cleaning that thing off with the electronics involved and the whole stuff there. I don't think you just take a bottle of Windex and start spraying. What the consequences might be of that. Maybe the guys that installed the sign or the ones that did the repairs, if they're two different, I think it's the same group. I have some thoughts as to how we could maybe work that appearance, or whoever the sign people were, if it's separate
Probably
from the
call Joel.
electronics.
Perry
Call
still,
Joel.
Perry did that,
I
right?
think,
Joel
yeah.
Perry, yeah, Joel Perry did that, and he's
I would-
now
I would
in
call and, like,
Thompson.
ask him
Yeah, yeah,
for,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
Those were the guys down near the gas station, the Dollar General?
and they left.
Yeah,
And
right, they
but
left
they have an operation in Putnam, I think it's Putnam. They had 2 offices,
Right.
they've stopped this one, they still have that one down there.
Right.
But yeah, I can probably hunt up that one.
And just to clean the thing up and the appearance of it, and again, we're looking
And
to
if they're not
welcome.
doing it, I would want information on.
I think he
How
could.
can we do it safely
Right.
without
Yeah,
damaging
exactly.
the
And Joel,
You know, all
share
these
that.
appearance things, if you will, in terms of making the building welcoming, making the building appear as though it's a really going concern and something that you want to be a part of and be involved with. Those little things I think do add up over
Yep.
time, certainly.
And I honestly don't have an answer to this one, but the 2 little signs on either driveway, do they need cleaning?
They do the power washer,
Just bit-
that's part of all 3 of those.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
You made me think of it. Good.
Since we're talking about facilities, I think we talked about the carpet and the couches in the children's room a while back. does anyone think that, I think Joyce and I, we looked at the carpet, we didn't think there was anything.
That went to a vote and we kiboshed the rug for now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah?
got kiboshed at some
Okay.
meeting, maybe you missed that meeting.
Maybe.
That's been tabled
We have a
completely.
shampooer,
Yes,
and we were gonna do it probably more, but I think, we were waiting to do it till after the winter.
The winter,
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's
That's what I was
on.
gonna
a
say.
3-day
Schedule for him
weekend
to
of
do
some
that?
sort.
Yeah.
Maybe talk to George about Memorial Day, because that'll be a long weekend.
Yeah, so George is ready to do the rugs, and I just said, let me know when you're good, but we were gonna talk about the Saturdays, today, so maybe.
Sure, okay, excellent, yeah, so that has been, yep. Don't stop now, folks, you're on a roll, doing well here, doing well. All righty, then, review of proposed reciprocal library lending policy, which we received.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to use.
So this policy, I know I'd sent you guys a couple samples. This one, I particularly liked, it came from our friends in Webster. Because I think it explains what the Mass General Law is, but it also is easy to understand. I think, in the policy, as it says, an incentive for neighboring communities to fairly fund their own libraries is a really important piece for the public to understand. It's not meant to be punitive. It's meant to, hey, if you, support your library, this is what happens. Each town should support their own town library. And of course, we want, to support the towns around us that support their libraries, and that's how the sharing happens. All ships rise with the tide. But I particularly liked this policy. I'm open to any changes or suggestions that anybody wants to make to it.
I read it through quickly, but how about Thompson, Connecticut?
I did not look at Thompson,
No,
Connecticut.
but what
What
happens?
happens? So people
have
from
no-
out of state are still given cards.
I know we do have
Yeah.
patrons, so if
Right.
Thompson gets, I don't even know if they get decertified. I don't know what Connecticut does for the state.
So the cards are under the category of out of state.
Yes.
So when we get money from the state, and as far as state aid goes, we receive monies based on out of state people that are using the library. It's one of the pots that we get. We get those 3 pots of money. There's been talk between libraries about charging people that have that don't live in the state because they are using our services. That's something that we could review. There's no black and white answer for it. These are local libraries that have started discussing it, especially with digital options. So if they're using our card with our Libby services, they're using our digital services as if they lived in town, and they are not contributing as far as taxes go to the state. So that's something that we can talk about for sure. It's what you guys are comfortable with. I know that I don't personally know any libraries that have come down on a definitive answer on that, because we want
Oh, yeah.
people using services and we want to support people, but
Does
do that?
Connecticut have a certification process like Massachusetts does? So can the Thompson Library get decertified by the state of Connecticut like we could in Massachusetts?
that I don't know. I would have to find out.
Because I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
okay, Thompson decertified, we're just gonna use Dudley.
Right.
We're done.
Right.
Do
We're
we know
moving
how
to-
many
I have no clue, I'm just curious.
I don't know how
Would
many
use-
out-of-state cards that we have. That's a great question. I will run that data for tomorrow and send you an email. That's a great question.
I'm just
not
curious.
sure. I'm curious that you asked
If
that.
we have 10, there's no problem. If we have
Right.
1,500, that's different,
I mean, I'm all for getting people in the door. I'm just curious, I'm more curious than anything how Connecticut works since we're a border town.
I just have a problem with this, and I voiced it last time too, that we had no control over our budget,
Right.
Right.
and we were gonna get decertified. And I feel bad for those communities that people support them, and in no fault of their own that happens to them, that we can't loan books. Like, I have a problem with that. I'm not game for this.
Just a thought with.
I support my library, you know, I definitely, but I don't support not helping another library out if something like that happened with their budget. It was awful. Awful.
It is awful and it's
It is-
unfair, but
It
it's
is part of the requirement for state aid, however.
It
If
is.
if you get
That
cut
doesn't mean
off.
I have to agree with it. I don't.
You
I
don't, but
And
that's why it's done.
That's
If
the
it-
response
if
we
it
got
didn't
from
happen
Thompson when this
to
happened to
us,
us.
Yes.
If it didn't happen to us, I wouldn't have like known that much. But when that happened and I found that out, I was like, oh my gosh. And I would feel bad that somebody couldn't come and borrow materials. Like,
But that's the answer we got from them, so.
I know, but it doesn't mean I don't,
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
was
not
just
game for
wondering.
that.
They said that last year.
It is.
Yeah,
Incentive,
yeah.
yeah,
There are a lot of
it's-
people who went there, and
It's an incentive for people to advocate to make sure their library gets funded. Because like, you know, let's say that, you know, you only had $100 to give to the town, and if you could get all your library services for free, that's not where you're gonna allot your money to. You're gonna say, okay, let Webster pay our fair share, let Charlton pay our fair share. Like this ensures that the state works together and it makes the library system a better thing for everybody. We couldn't offer the services that we offer without the consortium.
That's right.
Like, bottom line, our collection would be terrible. People, you know, would not have access to the types of information that they can get now, and that's thanks to CWMRs and having that relationship. So I understand what you're saying.
And most people would never know that was, well, we know that from what happened. Most people would never know that that was the case
Right.
until their library was.
Sure, because I went into Webster shortly after all our fiasco and was handed that policy. I'm like, sorry, Ben.
I know.
Oh.
I
But
know.
made us fight, and it gave us another argument in our fight. Gave us another, it's like, you're cutting us off from library services
Yeah.
area,
Right.
you know?
Not that anybody reads the annual report, but I've always included that in there, the explanation of what can happen if the library isn't certified.
Yeah.
And since we're so close to Connecticut, I imagine this would happen to us more than if we were in the middle of the state. You know, we're very, very close to them.
Just to stay with that thought, I mean, literally, you cross the street and you're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the fact or the reality in terms of where we're located. We're not that far away, and people, and some people in the town of Dudley may actually find it more convenient to go to Connecticut than they might come into the library here in Schofield. You know, I don't know what our relationship is with them, but I hope it's a positive one, and I'd like to see some reciprocity in terms of our being able to work together with them, because again, they're part of the neighborhood, if you will, as opposed to being you know, there's a big wall and you have to go through it to get to Connecticut. Well, that's not the case. It's just around the corner and
So
down the
when you
road.
gather the data, like, you'll be able to see how many of the patrons have out-of-state cards? Will you be able to see how many have out-of-state, like Thompson?
I don't know if I can drill it
residents, or,
down
like,
to
I didn't know if you could do that with the data.
specific. Does it matter where in Connecticut they are from?
No, I was just curious if that was possible,
Yeah,
if that breakdown was possible.
I can probably see it.
The other thing you have is families. You may have grandparents who live in Dudley,
Sure.
and the kids are in Thompson.
Right. Right.
Or vice versa. So you got a back and forth in terms of, well, we'll use that library, we'll use this library. And, you know, it's kind of a float factor, if you will.
I know we have New Hampshire residents with our cards. They're relatives of mine who end up spending summers here.
Yeah.
And they've gotten cards here,
Right. It's a beautiful
Okay.
thing.
you know? And then they love our library, absolutely adore our library, because everybody's friendly and they can come in and
Well,
read
what
the
do we
paper.
require for a card?
Driver's license.
Driver's license. So, and we don't specify that it's Massachusetts license?
Well, if you gave me a Connecticut license, that's the address that would go into the system. And
Okay.
it would be, the computer recognizes it, it's out of state, and it becomes an out-of-state
All
card.
right. But if someone were to come in, let's say from Townsend, Mass., that's Massachusetts driver's license, that would be as acceptable as one from Dudley or anywhere
Yeah.
else. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody's
And you-
part of the same flock, really, when you get
Which is
down to
great.
it.
And you only need one card, so, you know, it's not like people are getting multiple cards and getting something for it.
I
They
don't
only
like
are
those.
getting the one, so, yeah. unless you're using digital services.
We'll talk about that
I
later.
know, right?
I do empathize with Joyce, and, you know, that craziness that we went through in
It was
terms of,
awful.
oh, it was
But we had no
absolutely-
control over that.
No, we
So
didn't.
how many other libraries go through that and have no control over that? I'm really, I support my library,
Yeah,
but I just don't agree with that policy.
does sound a bit hard-hearted, honestly. I appreciate the fact that, you know, all tide will, you know, all ships will rise, so-called, or whatever nautical terminology there is. But it's a different story when it's you.
When
and
you've
it's
had it
next door.
happen, it definitely hits home.
It changes the narrative considerably.
Yeah, I think we definitely have a different outlook, you know, having been through the trenches. And I would agree with you, Joyce, that my heart does ache for anybody who
Yeah.
will go through this.
It's not fair.
And the simple fact of having to educate the public on this. I mean, first off, we got educated and
Yep.
in a big way.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, we had to go forth and we had to educate, and that can be very difficult.
Do most libraries have this type of policy?
Yeah.
We
Actually,
found out, yes.
Some of the local libraries established the policy when.
Because
we
of
were
us.
being-
Oh.
Yeah,
And, well,
yeah.
for it.
To that point, if we passed this and it became part of our policy, and something could happen, let's say Webster, next year, I see no reason why we can't revisit it because we would know the particulars.
Right,
There's no reason we can't override this.
right.
I don't see a problem with
Once a
that.
policy's in place, that's good.
Well, to that point, I mean, we went through a series of overrides last year, and we know what that was. In terms of the calendar, it was just marching along and nothing was happening or very little. And other towns could be in the same situation, and to extend a grace period, you know,
But if you're going to disregard that policy, didn't we just say that we get state aid or we get something because
good
of we
point.
have to have it? So,
well, we have to have this policy in order to get state
No,
aid?
you don't, you
No.
have
You have to be
to have a
certified.
reciprocal lending
I-
policy.
you have to have
I think
reciprocal
that-
lending policy, and that's what
Right,
this
no,
is.
I think the chair was looking for some flexibility in
Yeah,
this
that's
possibly.
exactly.
Should the situation arise. God forbid that it ever does. But
So
should
let
it
me ask
arise,
you this.
have a grace period of 90 days or whatever, while a town works through the kind of idiot process that we had to go through. Excuse me for characterizing it as such, but, no, don't excuse me for that.
Let's say that Webster decided that they were no longer plow their roads, right? Would you be for our Dudley plowers to go to their town for free and plow their roads for them because they chose not to fund that? Would you be supportive of that? Because this is the same thing. We're talking about libraries that are choosing, communities that are choosing not to support their library. It doesn't have to be, like, it just has to be the majority of the community. It's one, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's true, you know?
Just to back that up a bit, I think what the chair was suggesting is if a town were in the process, as we went through, if you call it a process, that we would extend a certain grace period, if you will, and kind of, you know, not necessarily work with them, but kind of, you know, not necessarily shut
But
the
I don't-
door, if you will.
I don't know that we would have control over that because it would come in under their card. And if they came in to borrow materials under their card, it would be bounced because their card would be listed that they were a resident of whatever town that was experiencing.
They're no longer
They're
certified,
no longer
right?
certified.
Dudley didn't get to that point,
Right,
right?
right, we were
Right.
close, but didn't
Right.
get there, right.
Painfully.
Right.
But that's what would happen. So I don't know that we could
We couldn't.
because it would come, you know what I mean?
Could
It
we
would-
override a card? If that came up, yeah, I agree, we can't override, okay.
No.
Thank you,
So,
good point,
That's the
good
only
point.
thing
No, because we actually, that conversation came
Yeah.
up last year.
And I wouldn't ask the staff to do that.
No.
No, it's not, yeah. Should we think about it some more?
I don't know that I'm gonna change my mind. You can all
Yeah,
vote on
I-
it. I'm not.
No, I'll put it to a vote, I mean, we're all here
Yeah.
tonight. I will put
Yeah.
it to a vote, we have had this for a while. This is the policy, I mean, do you want to see any changes in it? I will entertain a motion.
I would ask, Mr. Chairman, that in future, if we do see that there's some thought as far as making changes to it, do we leave that door open?
There's no, I mean, we
Any
set
of the
policy, we
policies.
can
Yeah,
change
we can do
policy.
that to
anyway.
our bylaws.
I mean,
you
we
know.
set them, we can change them.
Right.
That's our jobs. But at the moment, this is what's being presented to us, and I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the reciprocal lending policy
As
that was
presented.
presented tonight.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Pat and Adriana. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
No.
One abstention, one no. So 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah. No, 4. I can count. 4, it carries. Pat was a yes. Adriana was a yes. Kate was a yes. Ben was a yes. Joyce was a no, and Richard abstained, just for the notes. All right, good. Okay, number 6, library hours for Memorial Day and Labor Day weekends.
So I was looking at trustee meeting minutes. I had asked the staff if we were typically closed. I got conflicting answers. Pulled up the August 16th, 2022 minutes, and it looks like we voted October 8th, November 12th, January 14th, February 18th, April 15th, and May 27th. We would be closed on those Saturdays. That would have been fiscal '23. So I'm wondering if you guys have a thought on what we were going to be doing for the May and September holidays, Memorial and Labor Day. We do have dedicated staff. They work year-round. Many libraries are closed on Saturdays. I'm not advocating to close on Saturdays in any way, shape, or form. But those are holidays that are particularly quiet in the library, from what I understand. I don't have an exact figure for you. Unfortunately, there's no day statistics that I can find. One of the directors put out on the listserv asking, it was actually the Millbury Library, if anybody was open the Saturday before Memorial and Labor Day. They would like to close. Agawam closes, Hopkinton closes, Milford, Pepperell, Shrewsbury. Those are the only 2 Saturdays they close all year. Ludlow and Williamsburg all closed. Those were all the directors that responded to that.
We seem to have had a lot of discussions about days we're closed. And I really think we've met and talked about it since that meeting
Okay.
that you're looking at. I would like to see, come June, that you meet with the town administrator. Our hours should be different than the town hall's hours. And I feel it really came to a head this past November when they had to close on Friday and be open on the holiday on Saturday. And I was like, our hours should be different. They shouldn't be the same. It's not the same as the town hall.
Right, I think
And that was
John,
Veterans Day, that happened in November. The whole town hall was closed on Friday to celebrate Veterans Day. So the library was closed on Friday, but they all had to come in on Saturday when it was the holiday. And I'm like, it should be different. Our hours should not be set in stone to the town hall hours. And I really think it should be a yearly meeting to review what days we're gonna be open, and maybe the town hall is closed. But we're open on Saturdays now.
Yes.
What did
And
we
I
do
really
Thanksgiving?
feel-
I thought
What's that?
I thought you were gonna say that was for Thanksgiving.
No, it was
What did we do?
Veterans Day.
What did we do for Thanksgiving?
I believe that you were closed Thursday, Friday, and open on
Right.
Saturday, which
Open on Saturday.
Because the town hall was closed on Friday. You know, it's just like, I don't get it, like,
No,
Well, I
that
believe-
point is well taken. We are a very different entity, if you
are.
will.
Yeah.
And what the public that we serve is not necessarily the public that's going to find their way into this building. nor
so
is
it needs to change. The policy, it needs to change. The library is a different
Right.
entity.
I believe that John was open to having the library submit some information. It was when all this was happening last June.
Yeah.
He said that the library could present a
And that's
recommendation.
exactly
That
what
would
I
be-
think we should
That would
present
be
our own.
included in the
Yes.
policy, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
I do think. I mean, we just started being open Saturdays. And I really, we should be open Saturdays.
Right.
I have a
No.
real.
And I agree with the meeting yearly because of dates changing and
They
so
do
forth.
change,
Yeah, because you
That we
just
should
rattled
have
off
said.
dates that we
Yes.
should go through and
Yep.
talk about.
And the Monday holiday thing makes things a little crazier sometimes in terms of when those happen.
But I mean, we're closed. It's a Monday holiday. We're closed.
Yeah,
It's a
but I mean,
holiday.
it's, you know, you used to count on Thanksgiving being the fourth Thursday of the month. Well, not that one, not so much, but Memorial Day. You know, it always came at the end of May. But now it's, the actual calendar date is not the calendar date that you might have thought it would be 10 years ago, let's say.
But I mean,
It
that was
float-
one
they-
that
we
was just
float 'em around.
crazy. That I was like, we're closed Friday because the town hall is closed Friday, and the holiday is Saturday, and we're working, and we're open. Wrong,
Yeah.
like, what
I
a
do
slap in the
remember
face
that.
to any
Yeah,
veterans.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
That
Like,
was kind of a
really?
slap.
That
That
makes-
was awful, and I'm like, we are a totally different entity, and it needs to be
Okay.
handled different.
So,
All right, let us, if we could,
Yeah.
answer your question for the moment, at least on Memorial Day. We can even hold off on Labor Day at this moment, but we should answer Memorial Day just so we can advertise. And then I do agree with you, Joyce. Nicole and I will go sit down with them
Yeah.
with all the dates and
Yeah.
actually, I think we'll put it as an agenda item for this group next month. So we can talk about which holidays we're thinking. And then after that, Nicole and I will go sit down with him and
Present.
I think I
Present the
agree
schedule.
with Pat that
Yeah.
he's not against it, we just gotta explain it. Yeah, but yeah, that'll be good. So what's our druthers for Memorial Day? What's Memorial Day is? May
27th.
May 27th.
Monday. May
we would be
27th.
close, I would,
We're definitely closed that
Closed
day.
that day,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, closed, yeah.
But we're open.
But we're open 25th.
25th.
which should be Saturday, okay.
So, what are our druthers for Saturday, May 25th? You're seeing history, recent history, we were closed.
Correct.
Okay.
Do we know what Webster will be doing?
I do not know what Webster will be doing.
Because I mean, as an alternative, if somebody in Dudley, if the library were closed here, and they had need of library services, I think they'd find themselves over in
Yeah.
Webster or vice versa.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
so,
happened, right?
you know, so if one of us were,
I wonder what the local Webster, Oxford, Southbridge, Sturbridge, what are they doing?
None of them responded to that email. I can tell you that many of the libraries, does Sturbridge close on Saturdays in the summertime, Courtney? So Sturbridge is open Saturday and Sunday, but they close Sundays in the summertime.
Yes.
Okay. Charlton closes for Saturdays in the summertime. I would
Oxford
not.
cuts their hours.
Yeah, they-
Oxford closes at, I think, noon
Yeah.
or 1 o'clock.
So say that
On
again,
Saturday?
Oxford on Saturday in the summer,
Closes
they close
earlier?
earlier.
Oh.
They cut their hours in the summer.
So what are they normally on Saturdays, do you know?
I think they're
open
two,
till 4.
4.
Oh, okay.
Guesstimate, a clue that, do you know what they're doing Memorial Day? Or what they've done in
I
Memorial Day?
believe they're closed. I believe.
And where are we again? What town?
Oxford.
Thank you. What town are we in? Oxford closes most likely. Sturbridge, do you know what Memorial Day they do?
I believe they're open,
Open on that Saturday.
so.
I'm on Oxford.
And how about Charlton? I mean, we have enough people,
Charlton is, that day, that's the.
Memorial Day, they're
that's the-
open in Oxford.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's the
believe they were. I
Saturday
thought
that
they
they
were
close.
they are in Oxford, the
It
27th.
says Memorial Day through Labor Day, Saturday summer hours, 9:30 to 12:30.
But that might be Monday, Memorial
Day, yeah.
Oh, so for afterwards?
Yeah,
Yes.
who knows, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
How
about that.
about
I don't know about that. though.
Charlton, you were just
They
saying?
close for Saturdays in the summertime.
Okay, and when does that start?
Well, this year it will be starting Memorial Day weekend.
So they will be
Right.
closed that day?
Yes, they were gonna go for June 13th this year because that's the other holiday. But I believe that I could be misspeaking, but I believe they pushed it to May, back to May
They
again.
did push it back.
to show it,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So we know around us except for Webster. Can
But
you
we
happen
have
to
we
look
have a
up?
dedicated Saturday staff. Most libraries do not have a dedicated Saturday staff. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Um,
I would like to see us open.
Me too.
Monday's the holiday.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really overlap. It's a different day. Like
Yeah.
if it was on the
Yeah.
same day, that would be different, but it's a completely different day.
You know, we just pushed so hard to get Saturdays, and now people are just starting to come back, and
Yeah.
we've
I
had
agree.
such good vibes with
Response,
the new
yeah.
staff. that
Oxford is closed on the 27th.
Not that that's. a
How
big
about the
deal, but-
25th?
But 27th is the Monday.
Yeah, we
27th,
went
the, Oxford is closed on the 25th as well,
Closed.
according to this. Library will be closed for the observance of Memorial Day, so they're closed both Saturday and Monday.
I think it's traditionally a very quiet day, but it's really up to you guys and what you want to do. You know, the library is here for the public.
And
Exactly.
that's the thing, we are here for the patrons.
And I really agree with Joyce. We pushed for this so many times. We
Yeah.
wanted to have Saturdays. So I feel like if we
And we should
start
advertise it.
closing on Saturdays, then
that's
people are gonna.
Which Saturdays are you open, which
Yeah,
Saturdays you
yeah,
close?
it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
can hear that.
confusing.
But I think we should let it be known that we will be, open.
It's a good, it's a good thing to throw
Yeah.
in the newspaper. or
Exactly.
On the website.
Just
you
on
know.
the
Visit us
website.
if you're
Start
on
your
Thursday.
summer reading with us.
Yeah. Well, summer reading's not starting till June
till
something?
June.
Yeah, June
But you
something.
gotta
They
pick
can-
up a
yeah.
book.
Yeah. That's summer reading.
Yes.
All righty. Do we wish
I
a
make-
vote, or we have a consensus here? I think we have
I
a
make a
consensus. Go ahead,
motion
go for
that
it.
we are open Saturday, May 25th.
Okay. I have a motion.
A second?
I have a second. Joyce and
And then
Adriana.
I would say further discussion in the
Yeah,
next meeting
we'll
for
do that, because the next one we
remainder
will
of the
want to
year.
discuss is Labor Day, isn't it? So we will have time to have that
If I
discussion.
may, Mr. Chairman, it
Yes.
looks like Webster will be closed on the 27th,
Yep.
but open on the 25th.
Oh, okay.
We will not be alone.
There we go. So I have a motion and a second to stay
Country
open
music.
on May 25th, that's Saturday. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And it's opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Good. Okay, so, yeah, Labor Day we'll talk about later. Board member comments and observations. Yes, who has something to let us know about, please?
Well,
I think the Friends did a good job for their book sale.
Did it
I think
go
they
well?
had some decent,
Fabulous.
patronage.
Good.
Had you heard any more from the
Any
Friends?
numbers?
I do. They made $1,300.
Oh,
Fantastic.
That's wonderful.
Travelers came and picked up the excess books.
yay!
Yeah, it was, thank goodness, because we needed the room back. It was a long week without that room. But yeah, it was successful for sure.
Good.
Yes,
Recent
sir.
experience, I had, well, this is the first year that I've ever had this experience. I actually tried to look for a parking space and walk. A welcome experience, but a little disconcerting. Usually there's no problem. But a couple of occasions recently. And again, thank you for the pies. I didn't need the calories, but much appreciated.
They were good pies.
They were delicious.
You know, that's the one thing in Dudley that'll get a crowd. The animals, obviously.
Animals and food.
Animals,
Food
food,
and
and kids,
animals.
yeah. You know, if
Anywhere.
Food and animals.
and that's the recipe for success, or, well, a version of success, let's say, but that's great.
So when's your next food opportunity?
Tomorrow, yeah.
The other part of it is, you come into the building, there are smiling faces. I mean, everybody's got a smile on, and the kids are running around all over the place, and the place is bedlam, misuse of the word,
Fabulous.
obviously, but it's kind of chaos, somewhat controlled, and everybody's still smiling, and it's a kind of it's a welcoming sort of environment that we've been missing, and it's again,
That's what we're here for.
overusing the word
Yeah.
welcome.
Good,
Well, Blake
excellent.
Shelton makes all the difference.
He stands right.
Don't say it, don't say it.
We are gonna people love those posts. It is so funny.
I love the increase in social media posts. It's
Yeah.
so nice to see.
Yeah,
It really is.
especially the yoga one with Courtney.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Oh, the yoga one? Yes, that was her idea to go outside.
So at the last meeting, Nicole was like, "Oh, the staff is so excited, and everybody has this little." She gave us a little bit on each person's development or what they were working on at the library. How are you folks feeling? at the library.
We can ask her to leave if you want. We can go into executive session.
I personally, it's not a dig at where I was, I didn't enjoy going to work. Now, I get up and I'm excited to go to work. Last week, I texted her at like 6 in the morning. I'm like, I'm coming in early, I get a great idea.
And the sidewalk?
The sidewalk, yes.
Yeah, that was a lot of
Oh,
fun.
I love the sidewalk. Thanks for
Yeah.
reminding me. That was really good.
Yeah.
I was out of town
You
inform me.
missed it.
I miss it.
Really good.
Did you take a picture?
Another one just for you.
Oh, good. Well, if you're picking me, I'm not sure I want it.
If you go to Facebook, you can watch, Deb made a reel, but it was, she gave the kids a little sidewalk adventure to come into the building, like you twirl on the flowers, you follow the stem, you touch the planets, there's a hopscotch at the end. The moms loved it.
Yes, the other ones did love it.
It was a lot of fun, but it was gone the next day because it rained. But
Yeah.
we had animals, so
Yeah,
that's good.
I just like going to work. I love going to work now.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Hopefully, there's no drive-bys from your previous employer. Because I think we've stolen a little bit.
She's very happy. She really wishes to see this library become as big and successful as, some of the surrounding towns. She really, really, truly feels that way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's good. And how about you, Courtney?
I am always excited to come to work because there is plenty for me to do in that room, and I am always finding more things to do, and I love being in that room, in that environment, and I get excited to do small, mundane things. Like, I finished shelf reading today, and I was like, yep, all right, gonna come back and do this again next week.
The whole?
Oh, no, I
Good to say.
finished one
How
of
the
the
heck did you do that?
Yeah, no, but I mean, just like anytime I accomplish something like that, that I know needs to be done in that room for that room to have success, I'm just like, yes, I can't wait to come back and continue working towards that, so,
Excellent,
yes.
excellent.
That's
And the kids like
fantastic.
seeing you.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just fantastic to hear that because this is such a different vibe, a
yes.
different environment, a different lifeblood than what I kind of dropped in on or into. Thank you, Mr. Clark. And it's just so.
You were Willie.
I was. It's just so nice to see it. And to have people who like being at the library, and even if they've been there an extended period of time, to have this rebirth and be like, oh, I like it even more now because there are such great things that are happening. And the team seems to work together very nicely. So, Nicole says wonderful things about her team. And so to have people come in who are her team and say, oh yeah, we're so happy. It's so refreshing. And no matter when I stop in, it's always a nice, warm, welcoming environment, which is what you need to have
Sure.
to keep people coming through the doors.
We are a service industry. That's
Yes.
we're here to serve the town of Dudley. And
Yep.
a smiling face does it.
Absolutely. So thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Any other comments, observations?
I want to thank you for the report from the children's librarian. I love that addition. Should have been having that for years now, so wonderful.
Thank you.
So you
to
don't
get
get to
that.
stop it.
I know, I feel bad, it's gonna be like, oh, something else
No.
to do.
I don't mind.
But I still am hearing rave things from families that are coming in, that I work with, that, I promote the library at so many houses. Go to the library, go on the web, let's see what they're, I'm promoting it all the time. So it's nice to have my families give me the feedback. Oh, we did this, oh, we really like this, and I was like, oh, makes me happy.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I interrupt.
I finish.
I have one more thing.
I finish.
The lot, I just wanted to know, where does the lot stand?
Crawford's Corner?
Yeah.
I've put that on the agenda for next month.
Okay, because
I-
that was my
yeah,
thing, because I
yeah.
thought we had to do
Yeah.
it spring if we wanted to do something,
Well,
if we do something.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we're gonna go with
Okay.
that, but
Gotcha.
because we hadn't talked about it, we'll.
If
get
I
that
may,
going. Yes.
in terms of cards, have we seen an uptick in terms of number of people pulling cards?
Registering
Yes.
for a library card. I don't think we've seen a large increase on that. We want people using the cards. Courtney's actually facilitating the school visits next month, so all those students will leave with a card, which will be filled out before the tour, and we are getting them nice lanyards, and they're gonna get pencils from the Pearl. You are required now to have a card when you're reserving a room at the library, so that's encouraging people to get a card, get more familiar with the,
I will say something new that, like, I just don't ever remember it happening. My husband got an email today, and it said, your card is expiring, like, in 7 days. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't think I've ever gotten that.
No, you
So I
usually
got
get
him
there and
his
use it, and
card.
it's like, this isn't working.
Right.
That's happened to
I went and got him his card, and I was like, here you go, and he's like,
Trustees should be working.
well, what am I supposed to do? I said, I don't know. Call. And he called and spoke with Lena tonight, and so Lena took care of it, and it was all set. And he said she was very pleasant.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I don't ever remember getting that.
No,
from my
I agree.
card.
I know.
So I was surprised when he got it, and he said it was, I'm like, oh.
That means his email address is good. CW Mars sends those out. Your cards expire every 2 years, whether you want them to or not. And then September is the library card sign-up
Library card
month, so we'll do a
drive.
library card drive in September. But also we are planning on, and we're in the infancy stages of, we want to be at the Strawberry Festival. We want to have a presence over there. We don't know how we're going to divide and conquer the staff quite yet. I don't know what I'm doing yet on that, so I will let you know. But we will have a table. I'm hoping to have a survey for working towards the strategic plan so people can fill it out in real time. We need that conversation with people face to face to get non-library users to give us input on what they would like to see out of their.
I wonder if there's like a short, really short survey, if you had pencils available, if you were at the Grange, and they could just go, check, 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 here
Yeah.
you go,
We
and
can
hand it back
certainly-
in, like, to
yeah.
give you that feedback.
Yeah, we
You
could
know, I
certainly
know they
try.
wouldn't do something lengthy, but if it was just like 5 questions or 6, like.
Yeah.
While they're waiting for
simple.
strawberry shortcake?
Yeah, they're waiting in line doing nothing.
Can't have one of those until you give me the word.
It's a long line. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Amanda has left us, and regrettably, she would have been a better one to respond to this, but I know at the last meeting, which I was not in attendance, a question had come up again, and we brought it up several times in terms of meetings at the library as opposed to in this building. And in fact, the selectmen having met in the Fells Room at some point in the past. I did get an email, I've been in contact with Amanda, and the last email I got is, as of right at this moment, and I'm reading from her email, off-site meetings would be recorded just by my iPad versus via YouTube live stream. Have a project for the summer once school is out to work with Rich. I'm not sure who Rich is.
Oh,
The one she was talking to me about was the prior guy. I don't know who Rich is.
Well,
I don't
to be
know who Rich
determined.
it's from it's the Dudley Charlton Regional School District, the
Oh,
person that does the
oh,
filming for
that
them.
was that,
Yeah,
okay.
that's-
To film the school committee meetings
Yes.
specifically.
Yeah.
To help me get Ted's cameras, I guess Ted Barron
Barron,
cameras,
Barron,
right?
yeah.
Up and going in a more mobile station manner to be able to record and broadcast off-site without my iPad, so on and so
So
forth.
she's planning on doing, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, so I actually asked her before we started, I just caught her, she said she slows down in the summertime. That's something that she can look into facilitating over the summer, and of course, that's our busy time. So that's like a marriage made in heaven. But she is going to help us move forward with either getting some type of recording
We
equipment.
talked about this afternoon.
Yeah, this afternoon. There's ones that you can get, like an owl. They're about $1,000. They're voice activated. They have the camera, so it will follow whoever's speaking. For people to use that are using the Fells Room, but we definitely will need her help with anything bigger than that.
I think she was gonna look to get trained or to make the cameras more user-friendly
And mobile,
or
like a
mobile.
mobile.
The ones that Ted had, Ted was doing like the job of 3 people, I think.
Well, there was
And so she said
Mrs.
that
Sugar, too. It was-
they can, there's more things that you can do with it, so she's hoping to, I think, get some training on it from that.
Good, that'd be good. And also, some of the programs that we've had in the Fells Room in the past, to record those and have them available on the public access. Just a point of note, I guess Amanda's splitting time with the Highway Department now. She's
Oh.
audio visual plus Highway Department, so she's wearing more than one hat, as most people in this building have been doing typically, so. But that sounds like at least we're moving forward with that thought. And
Yeah, because I mean, that is something we could offer the town again. Because we designed this building so you could close off the library after hours. You could use the Fells rooms, you'd have bathrooms,
Yep.
even the little kitchenette. You can use that for public
Yep.
meetings, whatever. The only thing we'd have to figure out, and we've talked about this way back when, just closing and opening, and we could figure, we'd work that out.
Yeah.
We'd work that out.
I brought this up years ago. Nothing really ever happened with it, and I don't even know if we could do it. I would love to do a fundraiser for the library and do like a murder mystery evening or something. Is that in anybody's little wheelhouse over there?
It's our, don't
So
you
you know,
worry.
I'm just thinking about like, or an evening out with like, you know, wine and cheese and like something.
I've done,
as
and
a fundraiser.
I'm going to steal it because it was my child in Charlton. I hosted the Not So Newlywed Game,
Oh, okay.
and we had it at the Beagle Club, which I want to get in touch with somebody out here, and I want to do that again. You had local, it was the Newlywed Game, but it was married couples.
Yep.
So you and your wife would come in and I'd ask, you know, I was Bob Eubanks. and
Yes.
Yep.
With the blazer.
It was a hit. It was a huge hit. Was it not?
It was. It was
a
very
hit.
successful.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think that would be a lot of fun, or a comedy night, or something, and like, it can be held at the library.
I think the Not So Newlywed would be a comedy night.
It was. Oh,
Good
oh,
point.
Pat,
Good point, Pat.
it was.
That's a great idea.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, just another positive for the
I
library.
know, I just talked about it years ago, and it just got squashed.
Oh, let's plant that squash again.
It's springtime.
I'm willing to.
It's funny. I'd rather have it somewhere else because the Fells, it's smaller.
Well,
To have it somewhere else
I
where,
think the food and drinks can be
Food
in the
and-
Fells room, but things could happen in the library if it was
Oh.
a murder
And she's
mystery.
doing the murder mystery.
I don't know if I could do that.
Just a thought.
Yes.
Yeah, well, if you start with the
The
thought,
knife
we
is in
can
the
work
James
idea.
Patterson book. You know.
Very obvious.
All right.
You know, it's nice because I think we do so much for families,
Right.
but sometimes it's nice to have an adult night out with no children. And I think it could be geared to adults, not necessarily children,
Yeah.
because we do so many other things.
That are
Kids.
children-based.
Yeah.
Doing something different.
Yeah.
You know, why not? Give it a try.
I'm stealing this idea. Webster does a cookbook night
You
Oh,
always wanted to do that.
for,
oh.
and again, it's a
Didn't I
book
see that?
club,
No.
but you're reading, you all have the same cookbook, and then you bring the food in.
I thought I saw
And they
last
cook
year
at it.
Webster
I
did
said,
do something
"Ooh,
really cool.
yeah."
And wasn't
And
it
they're
they
doing
had
it.
cooks in? Like I know what you're talking about, but didn't they have places come in?
I
They
think-
Oh, that was
That
a
was
specific
that.
event.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This is,
that was-
that's a different
yeah,
one,
taste.
but you're
Oh,
right,
okay.
they did do
And
that.
That's what I
wasn't it
remember.
the, what's the name of the group with all the businesses in town?
The Webster Dudley Alliance, that one?
Chamber of Commerce?
Chamber of Commerce.
chamber.
It was like a Chamber of Commerce event, I believe. But that was a nice idea. That was a couple years ago that they
Yeah,
they
I
really
remember
did
that.
it.
And I was like, ooh, what a nice
Yep,
idea.
and they invited all the different restaurants
Yes.
between.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I would say
Taste
between
of
Dudley and
Worcester.
Webster,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
mostly Webster and then Dudley's restaurant.
But just something to do and
As
like,
long as we have food, yes.
Right.
food brings them in.
The
Food
cooking
brings them
class.
in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
And
just-
another thing
go
that
ahead.
we did talk about, and it never happened. Oh, so many things we talked about that didn't happen.
Stop, move forward.
Positive.
Going forward.
Positivity.
Bring it forward.
So having a writer come in or someone that like writes books, are we not allowed to sell their merchandise? Like that evening of that event, they like can sell it? Like, is that not allowed?
It depends on the library's policy. You guys would set the policy for that.
We've had musicians come in.
We're
and
going
they
CDs.
their
We sell CDs all the
Yeah.
time.
I know, but
So
we
you
were
can-
told we couldn't do that.
Well, it might say someplace in the policy that you can't, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't change your policy to
Because
make
I would think
special
hooking up with
exceptions.
book lovers in Webster, she gets a lot of
Yep.
Deb does, yeah.
writers, and to have them come and like, I would love to like. I don't mind that they sell their like wares
Yeah.
or whatever, but to have some writers
Mhm.
come in and like do that and sell their.
We did have a gentleman by the name of Matt York, I think was his name, who was a folk
Musician.
singer of sorts.
He's coming
And
in
I believe he
October.
was selling both CDs and books.
Yeah, I purchased
Yeah, I think we
CDs
have
after
that.
some of them.
Because
And I think he
I-
had a text as,
Yeah, we
a
did
book
without-
as well.
Prior,
We're
we were
breaking our own
told that we
policies.
couldn't sell, and I was like, oh, that's
Well,
crazy.
let's get rid of that then.
Because I was like, why don't we just have book lovers sell it then? if Book Lovers is bringing in the, you know, let them sell, have books to sell, and just let them take care of it. We don't have to have,
Right.
you know, it's just to bring people in, but, oh, it was
Yeah.
food.
The other thing too is that I know that there are a lot, one of my nephews and a group of his friends are like young people writers. And so that might be something like having a young person who's writing, open it up and see if like, because there's a lot of, you know, that 12 to 18 range that they are full of ideas and they like, I want to be a writer. And those are the kind of kids that, you know, you find under the covers at night who are like, you know, typing on their iPads and what have you. I used to teach so I know what they do. And, I mean, they just have wonderful, wonderful ideas. And to have, you know, an author come in that is of their, you know, age,
Sure.
you know, and I know that they have, my nephew who is a librarian in New Hampshire, I know that they have had like weekend events, you know, Saturday or Friday afternoon, Saturday morning events, where they've had authors come in and kind of share snippets of their
Do they coordinate
books.
that with the local schools? too?
They advertise at the
I
local
would think
schools,
so. I mean, that'd be
absolutely.
fabulous.
But we could work with like the English teachers, the
Exactly,
creative writing
yeah,
teachers.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like that, we like that.
I'm sure it's not a grocery list, they're all writing at the same time.
And I mean, it's not to say any of it can happen, but boy, it would be nice to have something like that.
Positive ideas.
There might
All
be
good.
someone on faculty at Nichols who's published.
Oh,
there's
sure, there are
probably
lots
more
of
than
They
one.
published,
had a
yeah.
presentation some years
Yes,
ago.
oh, yeah,
A,
lots up there.
member of the faculty up there presented on, well, it's an island off of Cuba, and it was once called Pine Island or something of that sort, and it's since been changed under the Castro regime. But I believe he had a book that he had published, and it was a very interesting presentation. Again, some years ago, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he might still be there. And
Sure.
who knows?
I mean, yeah, it'd be neat if we could really crack that nut with Nichols.
Yeah, I guess so.
On numerous
Oh, I
levels,
know,
you know, if we
I
could
know.
crack that nut a little bit.
So next Thursday, I have a meeting with Liz Horgan, who is the head of career readiness services, and we're going to sit down and try to come up with a collaboration
At
for a
Nichols?
program. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
she had a huge event today. She said after today, her schedule opens up, so we're going to sit down and see what we can find for the community. I think I really, really want to
Young
have.
Writers Club?
Well, I really would like to try to help people with their career readiness, like resume writing. How do you
Yeah.
interview? How do you dress for an interview?
Right,
Like
right,
things
right.
like that. That's the vein that I.
Nichols has a great program in place.
Yeah.
With their job area, and they have like a little store, and you can go in and pick out clothes for your interview and like rent them and what have you.
Fantastic.
Oh,
And I'm like it's called like Dress for Success or something. But when I went for a tour up there with my sister and one of her boys, I thought this is a great idea. And my sister actually works at St. Anselm's, and they incorporated the idea at their place because she was like, you know, these kids do not need to necessarily go out and buy a suit or, you know, buy whatever it might be, like buy
Yes,
one
right.
piece and what have you, and it's made a huge difference there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice options.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the writing piece is huge, so.
So you've made contact with somebody at Nichols?
Well, so I know her.
Kudos to you.
Oh. So I knew her because our kids grew up together.
It doesn't
essentially.
matter.
So she had.
Claim it, claim it, you did it,
Yes,
thank you.
yes, I did. So I reached out to her and I
Yes,
said, I would love
right.
to collaborate, and she is,
Take the credit.
yes, she is very happy to do so.
We're not gonna tell you how many years we've been trying to do
No,
it. So any little, hey, that's good.
excellent.
Yep, so she's great.
Good for you.
All right. Our next meeting will be May 21st, 2024, right here. If there's nothing else to come before us, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would entertain, move that we adjourn.
All righty. In a second.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you much.
Thank you
Thank you
again.
both.